I want to quit YouTube. This is going to be a serious video, unfortunately. I just had to deal with an attempted breaking and entering. It was at 4 in the morning. I got woken up by our security system. Police is extremely responsive where I live, luckily, and it arrives within seconds. The neighborhood where I live is also very safe. Houses are about $2 to $4 million around here. We have a very good security system. Me and my wife are safe and didn't get hurt. I can't say the same about the criminals, though. But all of this made me think. I personally prefer not being famous. I made millions without being in the public. Life is, you could say, simpler this way, but maybe not as interesting at the same time. I also think I can contribute to the society more by being in the public. I like doing YouTube, and I really appreciate you guys as well. You guys in the comments are also very polite, which I really appreciate that. But let's not kid ourselves. Being wealthy and also known at the same time, it does make me a target. I don't like that. I'm seriously considering quitting YouTube for that reason. I don't think that the criminals knew who I am, but I am also not 100% sure. Either way, they seriously picked the wrong house. That was an amateur mistake that they made. But to me, it does look like they are career criminals, which is the worrisome part to me. You see, if it was just someone randomly picking a house, maybe I wouldn't be that worried. It's not like the first time this happened. Now, for me being here in Canada, this is the first time it happened, but this is not my first experience with someone breaking and entering, unfortunately. Now, as you know, I openly share my net worth is over $10 million. Now, the part where I say over 10 million, that is very intentional. I personally think that up to $10 million does not make me a target for professional criminals, although I might be wrong. There are so many more people that clearly have $50, $100 million and much more who you can easily track. It takes just a few minutes to track some of them. So my logic has always been that, especially over here, criminals would target other rich people instead of me because there are so many rich people here in Vancouver City. There are billionaires here, quite a few of them. I only feel actually middle upper class. As crazy as that sounds, Vancouver is one of the most expensive cities you can live in the whole world, which partially it makes it safer at the same time as well. Now, I hope that I am right about this, that professional criminals, career criminals will target other people instead of me because there are so many people that are just much more richer than me, but no one, and I mean literally no one, deserves having their house broken into. But in life, you don't always get what you deserve, unfortunately. Sad, but true. I also had a meeting with a billionaire in Vancouver, and he had no security around him. Like, that's how safe Vancouver can be. But at the same time, he was in his office with many employees around, and in general, he keeps very low profile, although he has been in the news years ago, but not anytime recently, so he's keeping a very low profile now. I also personally keep as close to zero in cash as possible. If I share a screenshot of my accounts, it means cash has already been deployed, just to make it very clear in case any criminal is watching this. This minimizes any possible ransom risk. Much harder to demand a ransom from me when I do not have any cash. I shared this screenshot many times before, so I don't see any problem with me sharing this again. I don't think that sacrifices my security further. And if I ever share any screenshot, just know that the cash that I show in the screenshot, by the time I share it, it's already been fully deployed. I share just enough proof for you to know that I speak from experience. That's the only reason. And also, just to be clear, this screenshot specifically is from October 2020. The amount that you see in USD is in 1 month after expenses, and it specifically had something to do with the sick opportunity of 2020. I'm not sure if sharing this was a good idea, actually. But at the same time, when I was trying to make money. And when I would see someone's screenshot, I remember Jason Fladlien once shared his screenshot of $1 million in it. I was like, whoa, that's what I want. So I hope those of you who are watching, if you're not at that level yet, I hope that you find this inspiring or motivational. It certainly made me very inspired and motivated before I had any money when I would see screenshots like that. I also think personally that transparency is important, but once you are wealthy, too much transparency actually sacrifices security. I wish everyone was a good person with good intentions, but sadly, that's just not the case, unfortunately. I also really hope that Elon has very strong security and that he increased it recently. He mentioned that he would. I hope he followed through with that. So it's a tough balance. I mean, I shared that screenshot before, so I don't think sharing that again puts me in a worse position. Also, this is also extremely unfortunate. One of my closest friends from my home country, one of the Baltic states, had to deal with a ransom. And I was right there with him when he got a call. Not a good experience. I seriously don't recommend that to anyone. Not a good moment. And that is one of the reasons why I moved to North America, specifically to Canada. Many more. Taxes regulation being one of them. But security is one important thing because there are very few seriously rich people. Like if I stayed there, I would eventually, within maybe 10, 15 years, I would be like one of the richest people there. So that makes me a target. I don't like that personally. Now, also, the sad part about my closest friend, he was not even a millionaire. He still is not a millionaire. And it still happened to him. So that was not good at all. And generally, police in the Baltic states is pretty good, although they, when you are dealing with a ransom situation, you want someone who deals with that a lot. And because these Baltic states, there are not many people overall over there, so they don't have very sophisticated agencies, unfortunately. If it happens here, let's say in Vancouver, they deal with that here. The agents have much more better training and much more experience at the same time too. They are much better negotiators. Now, the most valuable thing that thieves can actually steal from my house is probably the suit collection that I have. I got it in 2018. All the suits that I got after, or almost every single one that I got after 2018, which is most of them, are made from scratch, custom tailored, everything, although they feel a little bit tight around shoulders. This one is not custom tailored. That's why I've been wearing this one, because it's more comfortable around my shoulders. But I wouldn't, if they take that, I wouldn't pay ransom to get the suits back, because I don't think I'm gonna wear much them often anymore. Some of them feel a little bit looser, so there are some that are better, but I wouldn't pay ransom. And of course, they would have zero resale value, or close to zero. So there's nothing to steal from our house, and that is very intentional. But I do not want to deal with another breaking and entering situation. I mean, it's one thing if it happens when I am not at the house, which is what happened before, but I was in Europe. Then it doesn't put your personal security at risk. I mean, if you want to take things, go ahead. If you're going to take my suits, go ahead. No problem with that. I don't know why you would be so stupid to do that, though. Well, maybe if they take the refrigerator, that one is a little bit pricey. But you need like a whole crew, and it's not like a 2-minute job to unplug that thing and then move it through all of the corners that are really tough to maneuver. So there's nothing to steal here, literally. I mean, what else are you going to take? The washing machine? You know, the part that worries me is that they seem to me like career criminals. If you are a career criminal, you likely pick your target and you research your target and things like that. And if you are more in the public, you are much more likely to become a target. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. 100% you are more likely to become a target. So one of the things I could do is just stop doing YouTube, never be in the public, never talk about money, pretend I am poor, which is exactly what most rich people do, by the way. And they do that for mostly safety and also tax reasons. We're not going to dig deeper into that, but tax reasons. Um, I also personally don't need to be publicly known for me to reach my $1 billion goal. But being known, certainly it would not hurt. For example, it makes hiring much more easier. That's something that many people don't think about when they start their own companies. If you are well known, hiring is much easier. And some asked me earlier, why am I working towards becoming a billionaire? I answered that before, but Elon really inspires me to be useful. That's one big reason. He has done so much good instead of just retiring after selling his first company. And then he put all that into PayPal. And then he could have bought a big island if he wanted to retire with his 180 million that he put into PayPal. He didn't. He built SpaceX, he built Tesla. Now he's reforming Twitter. He's going to turn that into the X app. I admire him for that. And also, growing up poor, I really despise the rich that hide from the public, don't share what they know. That really frustrated me. That really made me angry. I grew up poor, by the way. My dad owns a small business. My mom made minimum wage. So, and I grew up with my mom, but I would spend all of my weekends and all of my summers with my dad, and I would go to his factory. I would go to every single meeting that he would have. I watched how he runs his whole business. But my mom is like the most benevolent person you will ever meet. So she instilled that in me, and I hope it comes across. But you know, I don't want to become someone who I really despise when growing up. So for any criminals watching, when you come near my house, you'll get shot, or best case, you will end up in prison. So just pick someone else. Go someplace else. Go to a house where, I mean, there are so many rich people here. The houses are empty for like half a year. Pick one of those houses. And I started doing YouTube purely just for fun, and I really enjoy doing it. I think that comes across. I mean, you see me bouncing every single day in the beginning of a video, laughing, and I'm having a lot of fun. So I enjoy doing it. And also, it seems that you guys find it useful. And gals, there's not many gals watching. About 10% of you are gals, turns out. Although that number improved. It used to be like 1% in the very beginning. So I'm doing something right, I guess. Maybe. And this is the ironic part. The better the videos do, in one way, actually, the worse it is for me, because I'm becoming perhaps a bigger target. Maybe that's just one aspect, though. There are, of course, many benefits, of course, as well. And I'm definitely not complaining. I'm just stating the obvious here. I, of course, want to be useful and helpful, and continuing YouTube to me seems like the right thing to do. I was firmly committed, however, right after the whole event, right after it, but it was 4 in the morning, I was firmly committed to stopping YouTube. But when I had some sleep, fought it through, I feel better. Continuing seems right. Hiding, that's just not me. That's just not who I am. So I will keep going. But I do have to say this. I never seriously had to worry about security before, but now I have to seriously think about it. I personally was hoping that it's something I will need to start worrying about once I am closer to becoming a billionaire and everyone knows, oh, that's a good target. But this event makes me question this whole thing a little bit more. And of course, I want to buy more Tesla stock instead of wasting money on upgrading to a better neighborhood, but I may need to do that. My wife would be happy, I think, with that. But the current house is pretty nice. But yeah, I don't like this house as much anymore after this whole thing happened. So we'll see. Sorry about being negative in this video, but I'll be back to being positive in the next video. Thank you for watching again, and I'll see you later today.